Kudogens, my awesome viewers! I recently got a job which has reduced the amount of content I've been able to put out here on YouTube, but the upshot is that I've finally earned enough money to get myself a Nintendo Switch. So, over the past month, I've put the machine to the ultimate test. I've played it at home, I've played it on the bus to work, I've played it on a 4-hour train trip, and I played it on a LAN. So in this episode, I'm covering my first month with the Nintendo Switch. Let's kick off with the machine itself. When I picked up the console, I was surprised by the size. It's actually quite compact and manageable in size. Something else I liked a lot is the operating system, which not only is nice to look at and smooth to navigate, but also it's fast. Starting the system up is virtually instantaneous, and going from, let's say, playing a game to entering the eShop and back is seamless. Something I didn't expect when I bought the system was how much time I would play with detached Joy-Cons. I mean, I'm like all other players, I've grown up used to playing with the controllers attached with both sides, and I mean, first off, when I was at the train trip, I can't tell you how amazing it was to put the Switch in kickstand mode, lean back, put my head into the headrest, and just look down into the screen and play like this, or with the Joy-Cons separate in my lap. And that's the thing, the screen is of a really good size. I mean, playing on the 3DS has been really straining on my eyes. That's one of the reasons I don't play on my 3DS anymore. Even when I hold it this close, I mean, it's straining, but with the Switch screen, I could put it on a tray in front of me, lean my head back, and just glance down at the screen, and it didn't strain my eyes at all to play that way for even 4 hours, which is how long the train trip was. I've also played ARMS quite a lot, and I think that the motion controls in that game are absolutely amazing. It's night and day when compared to Wii Sports. I mean, even though that's just one of the many features built into these Joy-Cons, it registered my every single move. The only move that is a bit hokey is the block move. Holding them like this. For some reason, they register punches instead. I hope that that's something that's down to the software and not the hardware. And I think that Nintendo can iron that niggle out. Something I've done virtually every single day for the past month while going back and forth to work has been to play Breath of the Wild in portable mode. And it's unbelievably comfortable. I mean, I've had a Wii U, and I, for some reason, found it to be quite uncomfortable to hold up and look at the screen. But with the Switch, that's not the case at all. It's way more comfortable, the screen is way bigger, and it's, I think, way lighter. And despite the fact that it's lighter, it also feels much better built. When you touch the Wii U gamepad, when you knocked on it, it felt hollow, it felt empty, it felt cheap. This, on the other hand, feels like a really high-quality piece of tech. Something I didn't like at all was the Joy-Con grip. I mean, the position of the buttons is just somehow off. It feels very small. Moving your fingers from the sticks to the buttons and back is just not comfortable at all. I don't like it. I think that Nintendo could have made this 100 times better just by angling the grips out to, like, move sort of the base of your hands out, or if they would have just angled the Joy-Cons diagonally into each other, that would have made it way better. The grip is also quite flat. It's kind of reminds me of the Dreamcast controller in all of the wrong ways. The shape was kind of acceptable on the Dreamcast because you rarely used the D-pad and there was no second analog stick. My favorite way to play was the Pro controller. I mean, by God, this is definitely one of the most comfortable controllers of all time, and one of the best built feeling controllers ever. Let's start with how it is to hold it. I mean, every button is in the right position. I could potentially complain that the grips, like in every single controller available, is a bit short. However, unlike, let's say, the GameCube controller or the PS2 and 3 controllers, this has never actually made my pinky roll up and given me a cramp, because that's something I absolutely detest. A pet peeve of mine is rattling buttons. I mean, in virtually every controller, from the N64 to the GameCube to even the Xbox 360, the buttons rattle. When you press them, you hear a sound. You sort of feel that the buttons don't stay centered in their sockets. They move around. In modern controllers like the PS4 controller, that's not the case, and neither is it here. I mean, it feels really well built. It feels really solid. It feels like a true quality product. Like I've stated before, I think Nintendo should make an even more high quality version of this. I mean, imagine this controller with a brushed steel or chrome front and leather wrapped grips. That would feel like a premium product. I mean, even cell phones nowadays have chrome and leather on them if you look at some LG phones. So I definitely think that Nintendo can make a sort of super premium version. I bet some of you are wondering if it's as simple as that. An excellent console with one very, very minor flaw. Well, almost. There are two more minor things that could be improved upon. First off, it's the lack of analog triggers, which I've complained about in my video back in February. It really is a necessity to play modern racing games. Considering Nintendo released the Motion Plus for the Wii, I hope that Nintendo will eventually remedy this through a revised Joy-Con or Pro controller. The second is download play. During the LAN I was at, I really wanted to play Splatoon 2. The problem was that it actually was on the day of the game's launch, so only one person had a copy of the game. It would have been awesome if we could have started a LAN session and just downloaded it from the person who owned the copy. And considering that this is a feature that's been present on the Game Boy Advance era, and even up until the 3DS, this could and should eventually be included. All in all, I'm very impressed with the Switch. It lives up to the adverts, and it fits really well into the lifestyle of an adult like myself. With the tremendous sales of the machine and the available software, it's just a matter of time before third parties join in and start putting their mainstay titles on the system. So, that was my coverage of my first month with the Switch. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. My channel is still in its infancy, so I'll gladly take any and all feedback into consideration. And being a small channel, I do actually have the time necessary to respond to all of your comments. So, until next time, I'm Bra Dog.
This is a test. This is only a test. This is a test. Good faith.